Joining us now to discuss is Congressman Troy Nehls from Texas. Congressman, great to have you on. You are from,
Good to be with you.
You're from the Houston area where little Jocelyn Nungary was murdered by illegal immigrants, so you're well aware of the impact on your own constituents. What's your reaction to not only the flooding of the migrants into the area, but the money kickbacks, accusations of human trafficking?
Yes, I mean, that Springfield issue, I mean, very, very interesting what's taking place there. I know you talked a little bit about Jocelyn Nungary with that's Senator Ted Cruz's legislation in the Senate, and I was so proud to carry it here on the House side. We should be moving on that very quickly. But the number of migrants that are coming across our southern border, Haitians and everything. But what's sad is that we know that there are many Venezuelans. So Jocelyn, that young lady, was killed by individuals from Venezuela, and they were just some very bad hombres. You look at Laken Riley. She was also murdered. That college student also murdered by a Venezuelan. And so we got a lot of individuals coming up through our southern border and they're bad. They're gang members. Tren de Agua is a very violent gang. You've seen what they've done in Aurora, Colorado, and other communities, taking over entire apartment buildings and stuff. And so this is the Biden-Harris administration. So what we're saying is, listen, we have to control our southern border. The Democrats don't want to do anything at the southern border. They want to let these individuals come in and prey on the American people and prey on our children, and they should be ashamed of themselves. But if we get some action on this bill, it will prevent Border Patrol, Customs, and everybody, ICE, from releasing individuals into this country if there are beds available at the southern border. And there are a lot of detention beds available when they released these two monsters from Venezuela into this country, and they took Jocelyn's life, sadly.
Yeah, you recently wrote a book, Borderless by Design, where you talk about a bigger scheme that's really lying underneath all of this.
Yeah, in the book it's borderless by design, because if you think this border issue is by accident, it's not. This is exactly what the administration has set out to do. Joe Biden was inviting people into this country before he was even inaugurated on January 20th. He was saying, come on in, we're open for business, come through the southern border, we'll let you in, we care about you, we love you. Now what he's trying to do is he says, let's get you all in there, claim some type of an asylum, we'll offer you amnesty at some point in time, you'll all be allowed to vote, don't worry about jobs, we're going to give you all the government subsidies we can come up with, and then eventually they'll just be all voters for the Democrat Party. This is all by design. Very scary, quite honestly, what they've done. And for the Democrats the other day to vote against it, they don't want the SAVE Act. We know that there's rigging and fraud in our elections. And if you don't think the Democrats are going to do everything they can to get illegals and others to vote, wake up, America. We got problems with our election integrity.
Right. Scary stuff. So what do you think needs to be done, first to reverse all of this if Trump can get back in office?
Oh, it's got to be Donald Trump. He's the only one that can save our country. He really is. And what do we got? A little less than 50 days away before we bring Donald Trump back. I think if you look at the polling and everything else, listen, Kamala Harris is not the answer, and the Democrats really didn't even want her. She turned from zero to hero. She was zero to hero overnight in the Democrat Party. She never even made a vote in Iowa. Nobody's ever voted for this gal. So obviously they did the coup d'etat on Joe. They brought in Kamala Harris because the left is controlled by the extreme socialist party on the left. And so they brought her into this thing now, and I think Donald Trump has a good chance of getting the White House back because her policies, or lack thereof, don't put the American people first. She's tied to Joe Biden. We have a crisis on every corner, and she is the border czar. She's the border czar. The inflation is out of control. The crime's out of control. The American people see it, and they're going to reelect. We're going to get Donald J. Trump back in the White House, and he can put the crisis out. He can put the fires out across our nation and across the globe, quite honestly, with all the instability we're seeing in the Middle East and everywhere else.
That's right. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Congressman Troy Nehls. Great talking to you.
Thank you. God bless.